Which NFL free agents perfectly fit on your favorite team? Here is one free agency move I would make for every team. This isn't as much a prediction video as it is an opinion video on which free agents I would sign or trade targets I would acquire if I was your favorite team's GM. A mix of superstars and diamonds in the rough. But don't worry, no one I've already used in other prediction videos. And obviously, no re-signs, because that's just boring. Let's go. Shaq Griffin was recently released by the Jacksonville Jags. The Arizona Cardinals could really use some perimeter corner help, and Shaq Griffin was always at his best in Seattle, playing a lot of zone coverage. That's exactly what Jonathan Gannon wants to do in Arizona. Griffin has the size, the length, and the speed to pull it off. The Atlanta Falcons could desperately utilize an interior pass rusher to put alongside Grady Jarrett. Draymond Jones is that type of guy. While he might be a little limited against the run, he is one of the NFL's best specialists at getting to the quarterback from the interior and would make a massive impact getting to the quarterback in Atlanta. With the amount that Ronnie Stanley is injured, the Baltimore Ravens need to make sure they have a security blanket as a swing tackle. A guy that can play left tackle, a guy that's shown the versatility to also play right tackle, and George Fant is that guy. While he's been inconsistent as a true starter, he's someone that can come in and start if need be. Everyone wants the Buffalo Bills to upgrade their running game. One of the ways they can do that is bringing in a running back. But not just any running back. The Buffalo Bills still need to keep in mind that they're a pass-first team. So they need to have a back that can play on all three downs, who can pass protect, who can run routes out of the backfield, and catch the football. Kareem Hunt is not only a bowling ball of a running back and is hard to tackle, which will bring toughness and physicality to the backfield, but he's also an excellent receiver. He fits perfect in Buffalo. The Carolina Panthers could use an edge rusher on the opposite side of Brian Burns. Somebody that's a lot like Brian Burns, that can rush the quarterback with finesse, that can also use their length, can drop back in coverage if need be, and Leonard Floyd is exactly that guy. Both freakishly athletic. Leonard Floyd should probably come a little bit cheaper than he has in the past, and he might provide a big boom on the opposite side of Burns. The Chicago Bears really need an interior disruptor, a big-time D tackle that fits Matt Eberflus's defense to a T. And a defensive tackle that fit that very well was Poona Ford, especially against the run. He was excellent in Seattle. But they switched their scheme last year in Seattle, and I believe that means he's on his way out. I could see him going to Chicago and really getting back to the way he was playing in 2021, 2020 as a premier young defensive tackle. I think he could be a steal in free agency. The Cincinnati Bengals are this close to winning the Super Bowl. They need a move to put them over the top. They need to bring in a defensive player that can really make a difference. With Jesse Bates and Von Bell both as free agents, they need to maybe get somebody at cornerback, somebody in the secondary. And who better than Jalen Ramsey? Make the move, Cincinnati. Make the move for Jalen Ramsey. If you want a guy that can man up on Travis Kelce, that's your guy. If you want somebody to take away a Stephon Diggs or a Tyreek Hill, that is your guy. Jalen Ramsey is still one of the best in the game, has great versatility, and brings a championship pedigree. Ramsey should be the target for Cincinnati. The Cleveland Browns basically have nothing right now at the safety position. Switching to Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator, they need safeties that are good blitzers, that can play man coverage occasionally, that can drop deep and do a lot of different things. Juan Thornhill is a safety that is used to doing a lot of different things in Kansas City. Spags and Schwartz both love to be aggressive defensively. I think Thornhill would fit in perfectly with Cleveland. Something just didn't feel right with the Dallas Cowboys offensively last year at wide receiver. I definitely feel like the biggest thing they could do to improve their odds as that NFC team in 2023 is bring in a very capable wide receiver too. Brandon Cooks is sitting in Texas. He's at Houston. He probably doesn't want to move very far because he's been traded so many times. Why not, Cowboys? Brandon Cooks can stretch the field, bring a vertical threat to complement CeeDee Lamb underneath. It's the perfect match. The Denver Broncos are pretty much releasing everybody right now, and they definitely need help on the interior of their offensive line to help protect Russell Wilson. An underrated name that I think they should target is Evan Brown of the Detroit Lions. Brown has played center, he's played guard. The Broncos love their versatility, and this is a very much underrated name. The Detroit Lions are a couple moves away from being a true competitor in the NFC. And one of the moves that I don't think anyone would see coming is them making a big time move for an offensive weapon. I feel good about their wide receivers. But what about Derrick Henry? The Detroit Lions have an awesome offensive line. Why not play into that even more? Become the power run team. Allow Jared Goff to be where he's most comfortable off play action and pound teams into dust with Derrick Henry in your offensive line. I love the fit. The Green Bay Packers could utilize another interior disruptor next to Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark has done a lot on his own in Green Bay. I know that they drafted Devontae Wyatt, but why not also bring in Larry Ogunjobi? This is a guy that was awesome in Pittsburgh last year, has had 10 sack upside in his career, can rush the quarterback, can stop the run, a very well-rounded interior player that can help upgrade the Packers defense. The Houston Texans have been throwing a ton of assets and low-tier free agents at the linebacker position. I don't think there's been a better fit for them currently with DeMeco Ryans there than Aziz Al-Shaair of the 49ers. This guy, every time he steps in the lineup, Fred Warner's out, Dre Greenlaw's out, he's just fire. Absolutely awesome. Flying around the field in coverage and against the run. He's a perfect fit for a low-cost linebacker. The Indianapolis Colts really need a box safety in Gus Bradley's defense to complement Julian Blackmon at free safety. Taylor Rapp is an extremely underrated player. Coming from the Rams, they probably won't be able to afford him. He's an excellent tackler. He doesn't miss tackles, and he's very savvy and smart. I think he plays that box role very well. The Jacksonville Jags have moved off and moved on from Shaq Griffin. He was never the best fit, but somebody that does have familiarity with Mike Caldwell and the Jacksonville defense coming from Tampa Bay is Sean Murphy-Bunting. Sean Murphy-Bunting never really truly got his opportunity or shine in Tampa Bay. He was always better suited to play on the perimeter, but was never really able to because of Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean and the stacked Bucs defense. But in Jacksonville, he could take his game up another notch. He can play man coverage, he can play zone, he can even play a little bit in the nickel. I think he'd be a savvy signing. The Kansas City Chiefs love their veteran pass rushers, and especially with how much they're in the lead in games, why not go after a guy that maybe isn't the greatest against the run, but is awesome at sacking the quarterback and taking the football away? Yannick Ngakoue would take some pressure off of Chris Jones and George Karlaftis on passing downs. That is the type of guy that the Chiefs should be after because he can seal games. The Las Vegas Raiders desperately need versatile interior defensive linemen that can rush the passer and also stop the run. They saw Demarcus Walker do this in Tennessee last year. I think he's an ideal fit going from Vrabel's defense to a Patriot-style defense here with the Raiders. Demarcus Walker had a breakout season last year and can rush the passer really well from the interior. The Los Angeles Chargers need a partner for Derwin James at safety. One player that had his best season with Brandon Staley was John Johnson when they were both with the Rams. John Johnson left to Cleveland, didn't really fit that defense, but a return to Brandon Staley, you might be able to get something really good out of him. I still think he's young enough. He might come a lot cheaper, and if you keep him in a box role, I think he could really succeed. The Los Angeles Rams definitely need to take some swings on the offensive line. Not all of them are going to be big money contracts, but they definitely need to take a look at maybe some prospects that didn't quite hit their true potential with their first team. Garrett Bradbury fits that to a T. He fits the Rams system. He's been in a zone blocking system his entire career. He just played with Kevin O'Connell this past season, who came from the Rams. Bradbury would make a smooth transition to the center position, an upgrade as an athlete, and these players just always seem to play better with Sean McVay. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, this is more of a rant than anything else. I do not care that I just paid Tua $23 million. He is not going to win me a Super Bowl. You don't come to the Bottom Line View for this. You come to the Bottom Line View for me to say that Lamar Jackson should be the Miami Dolphins quarterback. Imagine Lamar Jackson with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Raheem Mostert. Is that not the fastest offense in NFL history? You tell me. With Brian Flores in Minnesota, they're going to need cornerbacks. They just released Cameron Dantzler. Patrick Peterson is a free agent. I like a Jonathan Jones fit, but somebody they could get cheaper that has a ton of upside is William Jackson. William Jackson went to Washington. I never liked the fit because he played in a lot of zone coverage, but this guy is a man press corner. He's always been at his best in that system. This could be a steal signing for a man press team. The New England Patriots need a number one wide receiver. I don't know how many seasons I have said this. DeAndre Hopkins is the perfect target. Yes, he's a little bit older, but he's still absolutely awesome. Bill Belichick loves the guy. He's fit in Bill O'Brien's system and had his best seasons ever under Bill O'Brien, so he knows how to utilize him. And DeAndre Hopkins can play in the slot, outside, make big plays down the field, move the chains consistently for Mac Jones, and give him someone to throw to in big down and distances. Please, a wide receiver. The New Orleans Saints once again find themselves in win now mode, and they always have a situation at running back with Alvin Kamara because he just can't stay out of trouble. So why not bring in a reliable running back who's a veteran and he's an LSU legend? Leonard Fournette is a great locker room presence. He's a very good pass catcher, deceptively, a good pass blocker, can play on all three downs, and he brings a power element to the backfield that I feel like the Saints have been missing since prime Mark Ingram. So bring in Leonard Fournette and give him half the work that he had in Tampa, and maybe it will pay off. The New York Giants really need to fix their run defense. If they have any hope at all of beating the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023, they need to stop the run. And one big man that can really help them do that and complement the other great players they already have on the D-line is Aishan Robinson. He did it with the Rams with Aaron Donald. He was an absolute monster in their Super Bowl run, and I believe he's extremely underrated. He fits into Don Martindale's defense perfectly, and you know he can complement Dexter Lawrence. If the New York Jets are really going to go out there and trade for Aaron Rodgers, they need to make Aaron Rodgers feel at home. So this might not be a huge move or anything, but bringing in Randall Cobb would do a lot for that. Randall Cobb is like Aaron Rodgers' only true friend, I feel like, anymore. I don't know how many of those he actually has anymore. Randall Cobb can move the chains occasionally, be a nice veteran wide receiver for Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore, and make this locker room a lot more championship worthy. The Philadelphia Eagles need to get a bit more athletic, fast at the safety position opposite Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Adrian Amos is coming off of a down year with the Packers, but he does fit into this defense really well because he can do a little bit of everything. He's good in the box, he's good deep, he's a good cover guy, he's a great tackler. And if you take away last year, he's been super consistent. He's a veteran that I feel like, a little bit like James Bradbury last year, could have a huge bounce back with the Eagles. The Pittsburgh Steelers could use a linebacker next to Myles Jack. Mike Tomlin loves his linebackers that can do a little of everything, that are very intelligent. And Leighton Vander Esch is that type of guy. Leighton Vander Esch has great size. He actually stayed healthy last year, and he had his best season since his rookie year, maybe. Leighton Vander Esch might be one of these guys that actually has a surge later in his career, and I could see that happening in Pittsburgh. He's a sound tackler, super smart, and a perfect Steeler. The San Francisco 49ers are always looking for ways to beef up their defensive line, and they could use a Robin to Nick Bosa's Batman for 2023. It might only be a short-term solution, but Jadeveon Clowney makes a lot of sense. He's super athletic. He's excellent against the run. He's probably a bit better than Samson Ebukam, and he's a very similar player. Jadeveon Clowney can be moved around, move in the interior. You could utilize him in a lot of different ways, and he fits this system and has played in it before. The Seattle Seahawks need to look for a linebacker next to Brooks. Drew Tranquil is like everything that Brooks doesn't do as well. He is. Tranquil is a very smooth coverage player. And these two could be a perfect 1-2 punch. Brooks is like a maniac against the run. Tranquil could be that coverage backer. That would be a perfect combo in Seattle, a team that loves their linebackers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers love safeties that can do just about everything from blitz to tackle to cover. Terrell Edmonds is an awesome athlete that I don't think is going to be signed to a huge contract. He might get a 1 or 2 year deal, but he's been playing a lot better as of late and actually breaking out as of late. And I feel like Tampa could go after him in a system that is similar to Todd Bowles with Mike Tomlin. It wouldn't take too much to see Edmonds playing alongside Antoine Winfield in Tampa Bay. The Tennessee Titans really missed A.J. Brown in 2022. They need wide receivers, but they also don't have a lot of cap space, so they need to be savvy about it. Paris Campbell is the perfect savvy addition. Mike Vrabel is from Ohio State. Paris Campbell, of course, played for Ohio State. That connection is there. And Paris Campbell could actually take this opportunity to maybe be a #1 receiver on a team and get a bigger contract later. The Washington Commanders have needed a linebacker since, I don't even know, like London Fletcher? They haven't had one forever, it feels like. TJ Edwards makes a lot of sense. He's not a big name, but he's a good football player, and you're stealing him from an NFC East rival. He makes a lot of sense for a Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio style of defense. He can move well. He flows in coverage. He's good against the run. He doesn't have many weaknesses, and he's still growing as a mid-20s type of player. That is a free agency move I would make for every NFL team this offseason. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below. Gronk spike the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more NFL content just like this. Peace.